Sash,
What's up, brother?
what's up, man? How you doing?
Good, good. How's your week been?
Freaking awesome, man. Um, trying to I've been like hardening my AI system. Feel like it
Nice.
could be like a little bit better. And so just been like I know you and I have been kind of chatting about that, been like testing out some new like orchestration engines and doing that with balancing work and traveling next week for work. And my son was at the beach all week, so I got some like dad time in. So honestly, man,
Nice.
it's been awesome, man. What about yours?
Pretty good. Busy, but I just wrapped up my first cohort of the Maven class, and
Congrats.
myself, I just switched Macs. So I've been trying a new memory system. It's called Claude-Mem. I think we spoke about
Ooh, I
that.
can't remember.
Maybe we didn't. It's like as medium term memory. I haven't yet played around with it, but that's on deck. But I'm excited for what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, so what are we talking about today? We're talking about like light research, right? Like using Google comparing to like Bing. Is that what we're talking about?
We're talking about sending agents to the deepest corners of the web to find
Ooh,
information, put it all together, and write reports. Stuff that
yeah,
organizations
man.
pay tens of thousands of dollars to,
So we're
for
doing
agents,
exactly what I said, except the exact opposite.
except the exact opposite.
Nice,
Um,
man.
I just got a ping saying your audio is coming low.
Mine
Uh,
is okay. Well, that's good
yeah,
to know. Let me bump it up some. Maybe I can move my mic up too. So,
yeah.
thanks, anonymous viewer, for
No,
that.
I'm Ramesh Hassan.
Yeah,
To send me.
cool.
I hope it's better.
I think
Okay,
so, man.
so
You want to hop in? Anything,
let's.
anything, anything you want to say to build like a little more suspense or kick things off? Are you ready to kind of
Well,
share that
I'll
screen?
I'll say what kind of where I built this workflow and why I built it is I was doing a lot of market research to figure out how to position Polsey, and I would use Perplexity's deep research or even ChatGPT's deep research, and I just didn't get a lot of good results. Like I would have to, if I was looking at the problem from different angles, I have to run each query separately because I was getting into context rot issues, and it would either lead to hallucinations or not finding the exact information I wanted. So I started brainstorming this with Claude Code. Hey, how do we fix this? I'm running into these kind of issues. How do we build a system that does enterprise grade research, agency grade research for us? Claude suggested to use multiple agents so we can split the planning, research, and analysis into different agents and use parallel agents for the research. So each agent is using its own context window to do only one thing. And that actually worked very well. And I was able to get a lot more data and also be reduce hallucinations in the process. So, all right, I can share my screen and we'll
Yeah,
walk through.
man. I'm excited about this. I know you
All
sent
right,
me
so
this. I know you sent me this, and I've been like delaying putting it in because I wanted to listen to
okay.
you talk about it first. So, yeah, take it away, man.
So this is kind of the workflow it runs through. I describe the goal to Claude Code. Claude Code takes my goal, captures additional context from me, and passes it on to the first agent, Oracle, which is the research planner. It's going to take the context, build a research plan, basically brings up different angles to research it, and then it will spin up one Hermes agent per research angle. So each agent is only researching one angle based on the instructions it got from Oracle. And these research agents will run in parallel. If there are 5, 6, 7, 8, a dozen angles to research, it will spin up a dozen Hermes agents in parallel to research each angle. Once they're done, they write their research, and their job is to just collect data. It's not analyzing, it's not doing anything. It has access to the web search in Claude Code. It also has access to EXA, EXA for semantic search. And there are rules in the agent description for when to use what. And then each agent writes an MD file with its findings. And then these MD files are passed to the analysis agent, Athena. Athena is the evaluator. It evaluates the sources, the data points based on a certain framework. We're actually using academic frameworks here, which Claude Code found to evaluate sources based on currency, relevance, authority, accuracy, and purpose. And then it triangulates different angles to find patterns between the data points that Hermes found. And once Athena is done doing that, it writes its own analysis MD file, passes it on to Scribe, which is the writer. The writer agent is Opus. It has very strict instructions on how to write the report. And the final output is a synthesized report, which is sometimes 20, 30 pages long. So for today's demo, here's what we're going to research. The research topic is find information about AI agents adoption in the knowledge work area. So I want to find what's the real adoption rate for AI agents in knowledge work, where knowledge workers are AI spending is actually concentrated. I want to find the gap between enterprise intent to adoption and actual practitioner reality. So I want to find the real information. And I want to understand which segments roles are growing fast. So when I gave the topic to Claude Code, it created this context file and asked me for approval. I said, this is good. And then it passes it on to Oracle. Oracle decomposes that research context into a plan. And it says we're going to research 5 angles, all running in parallel. First angle is find the real adoption rates of AI agents in knowledge work. Where is the money concentrated? Okay, who are the buyer segments? Who's spending money on this? Because ultimately, I want to use this research to position my services. You can hear it? Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
All right. Then we're going to research practitioner reality, competitive landscape, and segment growth. Which roles verticals are accelerating, tool-specific training versus workflow education. The goal of me researching is to figure out how and where to position my training services, my consulting services. So now it's going to spin up. I'm going to say, okay, proceed.
But it sounds like this while this is doing this, Sash, real quick, like going through this, you said how you're positioning like your consulting spend, but I feel like enterprise corporations could benefit from this as well. Like once you're making decisions on which framework to use, right? Whether it's like at
Yeah.
a model level, Gemini, OpenAI, Claude, or even at like a framework level, right? Of like looking at a Perplexity, looking at like Microsoft Foundry, et cetera.
Yeah.
I mean, is that fair?
You can use this kind of research framework for pretty much anything, right? It's built in a way that it can do market research, it can do strategy research, it can do any kind of sort of if the data is out there, it can find and triangulate it for you.
Can it
The
can
way
it tell me the like the best like option calls and puts to make like when market opens Monday?
it will probably tell you something. Now, if you take the call, that's on you. So
Human in the
um,
loop, right?
Yep, human in the loop. I did actually research with the same workflow stock opportunities across AI infrastructure, and I'm willing to share that report with our audiences as well because it was
Mm.
quite entertaining to watch it go as well. So right now, it started. It launched 5 Hermes agents. They're all running in parallel, and each of these Hermes agent is researching one angle. So the advantage of doing that is there's no context pollution. One agent is doing one thing, and the context window is fully utilized just for that, which gave me a lot of detailed results. So as these are running, I kind of want to touch upon a couple of things. One, the model choices for these agents are different. For example, the Oracle, which is the research planner, the research agents Hermes and Athena, the analysis. They're all Sonnet, whereas the Scribe is Opus. I tried Opus as a analysis agent as well, and I tested it against Sonnet and Opus both. Both were at par results, but the token burn on Opus was very high. So I flipped it to Sonnet because I was getting like almost the same kind of grade of analysis with Sonnet. That's something important to keep in mind. I'm sure, Chris, you've run through this where choosing the right model for the right agent is important in terms of cost and what kind of quality you want.
Yeah, it's tricky, right? Because when I use my Claude Code Max or whatever I pay for, I don't care as much as cost, right? I tend to just like default to Opus because I'm like, hey man, if it's part of this budget, right, I'm going to use it. But to
Yeah.
your point, I've had to start checking. I think anyone who has a paid subscription has run into that. You're out of tokens. You have to wait for the next 5-hour window to reset, and
Yeah.
so it's easy for me to forget about that until I'm forced to do it. And then I started playing around with others. Where the flip side of this is like where I am using Claude as part of my like Life OS, right? So I have
Yeah.
like a UI or a Telegram agent, like of how you and I communicate. That, of course, is all based on my API key. So like
Yeah.
I feel like I very rarely am using Opus for that, and that's more cost driven. But even Claude itself is helping me to better understand when to use which, right?
Yeah,
Like it is suggesting Haiku in terms of like summarizing and writing quick messages. And so, I mean, end of
yeah,
the day, like, do I always need Opus in my Claude
no,
Code terminal? Like, absolutely not. Is that going to keep me from running it? Depends, right? But
yeah.
like hearing this, like I can't imagine how many tokens this can burn through if you just let this fly, right?
Yeah, this is a token heavy, and I don't use it a lot because it's so comprehensive that you have to use it strategically, and it burns a lot of token. That's funny you mentioned how Claude helped you pick the right model for the right agent. I went through the same process with this. Initially, I picked Haiku as the Hermes agent for researching. It
Yeah,
just didn't work well.
fair.
I wasn't getting the right results, and that's why we kind of went up to Sonnet. And I think a lot of it is experimentation. And really based on the agents you want to create, what the
Correct.
outcome you want from the agents, you got to pick the right model. So this is still running. Let me see if it's actually pulling. So by the way, every time this research workflows runs, it creates a folder and it knows where to write it. So under the raw folder, each of these agents are going to start writing their raw research. Now it's taking some time, which is another, kind of, um, the characteristics of this workflow because it's so comprehensive. The other thing I'll say with the model choice, recently Anthropic Sonnet 4.6 was released, I think, in January or December. And if you look at the benchmarks of Sonnet 4.6, Sonnet 4.6 performs as good as Opus 4.5, and which is great because
Fantastic.
anything Opus 4.5 could do, Sonnet 4.6 can do with almost a
Cheaper
half or
cost, fewer tokens. Yep.
fewer tokens.
Yep.
So I almost say people for enterprise usage, if you want something to run with Opus, try Sonnet first. All right.
I want to ask you something while that's finishing up, Sash. Because
Yeah.
I'll tell you how I'm like been thinking about using this deeper research skill. Right, you sent it to me and I haven't pulled it in. I have an agent that I recently built that I'm working on, and I'm calling it a future thinker agent. Right,
Okay.
so just trying to have to make sure that this agent is part of like when I plan out anything that I'm going to build as well as building. Right, trying to get that insight of like, hey, is the thing that I'm going to build is that going to be obsolete in a month, right? Is Anthropic going to come up with something and just obsolete that, right? And so I'm trying to, as part of this, have skills that it's called that, once a week it's pulling in research from like your newsletter for one, YouTube videos, some other curated sites, the public web. Like, do you think that would be a good like weekly use of this to just like, hey, like what has happened in the past week that like I need to know about so that I'm not building obsolete things in my system?
Absolutely. This can definitely do that. I would also say, like, okay, is there another better way of less token intensive way of finding that information? Possibly. But if you want depth and if you want sort of verbosity, then this could totally do that. And I have
I do like verbosity, man. Why use 10 words to say something when 100 works just fine? You know what I mean?
exactly right. So you could totally do that. And
Cool.
as you can see, now the agents are coming back with the research. The first research was the competitive landscape. It's basically found Microsoft Copilot has 15 to 16 million paid seats, but only 35.8% active usage. 64% of seats are dormant. That's a data point. Now let's see. The other agents are coming back. Segment growth, biggest strategic signal. Education is the number one enterprise response to AI. Training, not restructuring. Interesting. And then it
Fascinating.
goes. It's just kind of sort of now the Hermes agents are coming back with the raw reports. This is how the raw reports are written. They're just written as data points. So DP1, DP2, these are all data points. And it just writes all the data points. And then eventually everything is going to be passed to to the Athena, that is the analysis agent. So full research complete, ready to spawn Athena for phase 3. Yes, go for it. So now that all the research agents, Hermes agents are done finding data, Athena is going to look at all of that, apply the CRAAP framework to every data point, basically validate its source and prioritize it. Is it a good data point? Is it a okay data point? Or is it a great data point? And then based on that, the high priority data points or the great data points are always chosen into the report. Now, it's going to take some time to run, but let me show you a sample, another report that I created, which is similar. I ran the same research skill to run to understand what AI skills for knowledge workers are important, right, today. And this was the research report that it created. And it did research across these 5 outcomes: employer training priorities, practitioner evidence, friction plateaus, like if people are stopping learning, any kind of patterns there, and any kind of skill sequencing. And so the way the reports are written, it writes an executive summary first, and it gives you kind of a bottom line, glanceable kind of bottom line. The skill that separates 5% of advanced AI users from the 95% stuck at basic chat is not better prompting, it is judgment, which means orchestrator mindset is the skill that people need to develop. So
We
ability
should
to
talk about that alone sometime, right? Like that orchestration mindset, because I think there's a lot of fear coming in of like, do I really want to give the reins over to Claude or any system, right, to kind of write code for me? And I
Yep.
think it's important about that shift. Hey, so I know we're right at 420. Is this? I wonder, right, as we close out here, Sash, is this something that like we can throw up on our website and like share out to anyone who wants to either take a look at this, like just this output here?
Yes, we will put this report and the report that came out from today's research on the website so people can find it, take a look, and just see, like, validate it for yourself of how this multi-agentic deep research flows work, and let us know.
This
Let
is
us
awesome,
know,
man.
and
This is
we'll put that
awesome.
up on the website.
Yeah, man. No, awesome stuff. Like, and so real quick as we close, I want to say, like, if you go to our website, we have a chatbot Echo that's live on there in the bottom right corner. Everything that we talk about is searchable. You want to ask what we talked about? Go ask Echo. You want to have key takeaways that came from this? Go ask Echo. She'll give you some of those. So everything is going to kind of keep making this better. So we would welcome feedback, right? Any question that you asked on there, we're going to track to try to make sure that we are improving the quality of this. But either way, man, this is just 15 minutes goes by fast. It goes by really,
Yeah,
really
it
fast. I
does.
want to talk about this for a lot longer. But Saj, this is
I
awesome,
know,
man. Thanks for walking us through this, man.
of course, and we'll put the reports up so you guys can see how it worked. And I guess we'll see you next Friday.
See you next Friday.